Oh yeah.
And they say New York City. Hey.
Chalet.
Hey, let's go.
Right back at you. What's going on, people? Happy Monday. Happy June. It's June 2nd. The year is 2025. We are live and direct in the space. We came from a long way to be here with y'all. We came
for real.
from a long way. They didn't think we was coming back, Ian.
I don't know why y'all did. I'll be honest with you. Listen, PH8. I want to be right the corner from y'all. Go ahead. Count it up.
We've been summoned. Shout out to the entire continent. We'll get into that a little bit later.
I don't see us on here.
Yeah, we live.
No, my thing.
Refresh. The people who's in here with us.
Oh, yeah, we live.
Yeah, for sure.
For Rashad, we live. Okay.
Yeah. You know how it go. Yeah, man.
Have Michael Saylor call up there and apologize. Shout out to Michael Saylor.
Shout out to everybody that's tapped in with us. Hopefully everybody had a great restful weekend. Shout out to everybody that had a birthday over the past week. And the second quarter is coming to a close. We'll get into some of that. Shout out to everybody again on the continent. We'll talk about that. All the countries that have summoned us.
Yes.
You'll be in the country like, yo, why don't y'all just come here? Like, we could just walk over there. But we'll get into that, man. But we happy to be here, man.
Next time.
Came a long way. Shout out to you, Ian. I saw you was in the city.
Had to be. Shout out to New York. Shout out to Trav and Teach Jam. New York had a great time. Keys was there. Ash, Cash, Matt. Shout out to everybody I met there. Had an amazing time. Great event.
Yeah, the OSG family was in the building. Shout out to everybody in OSG. That's our family over there. Everything that they're doing in education, especially Black men and women in education, Latino men and women in education, is very powerful. As the school year comes to an end, we need to see more of that. I know we're gonna be doing I'm gonna be in some schools in the next couple of weeks, just checking out what's going on. So if you in Brooklyn, be on the lookout. I might be in your school, tapping and going back to my roots.
Oh, that's fire! I love that.
Yes, sir.
Shotty, I know you sad. How you doing, my brother?
I know. I'm counseling him right now.
My brother look real sad.
Yeah,
coming to America too sad.
Coming to America, man. We made it back. We're gonna talk about the total Africa experience and later on in the show, but definitely great time in the motherland for sure. Thank you for everybody that hosted us. It's too many people to name, but off the top, Alvin, Fatima.
Yes. Some people we can't name.
Yeah, for sure. It was a lot. But
Bill Clinton. I'll say it for you guys. William Clinton.
Some people we can't name.
For sure. But it was good to be over there. Got to touch 3 different countries. And I feel like it was something that was inspiring for a lot of people. Eye-opening experience, doing different things that people might not be familiar with, as far as going to the safari and seeing the gorillas firsthand. We got to put the billboard up in Ghana.
Yep.
So it's just a lot going on these days, man. But we'll talk about it. But glad to be back for sure. I will say this, one of the dope things that we did in Africa was we got a chance to talk to Khalees.
That was
a lot of people don't even know that she moved to Kenya and owns over 300 acres of land in Kenya, and then other land in other places in Africa. She has a farm, and she's building a resort, and just a bunch of different things she got going on. So we spent a few days with her, actually. She took us to her property. She has zebras and giraffes on her property.
That's tough.
Yeah, slight stunt.
And we actually filmed the episode with her while we was out there. So she spoke about her firsthand experience about moving to Kenya and why she chose Kenya. And she talked about the steps of buying property the right way, the steps of sustainable food. She was a farmer in California before she became a farmer in Africa, but becoming a farmer, building a resort. She laid out a whole blueprint, because a lot of people have questions about, how do you actually invest in Africa? How do you go? What if you want to move? What about schools? What about all types of different stuff? Check that episode out this week at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Very important episode. Very, very insightful.
Run that back 3 times.
Yeah. Sure. It's definitely one of those ones you got to run back, in addition to the why healthcare you know, everybody looks at different reasons why they should move to it. She unpacks a lot, man. She did a great job representing the diaspora from coming from America. Shout out to, we gotta give a shout out to Harlem. She's from Harlem. From New York to Cali to Kenya, what she's doing is incredible, inspiring. This is one of the ones you gotta have your notepad for. Get your notepad.
I love it.
You're on the fence, if you're thinking about it, this is gonna unpack a lot, and it's gonna hopefully help you make a decision about traveling abroad. At least seeing it for yourself, and then hopefully making a decision.
For sure.
Something you gotta see.
So we're gonna talk about that. Blackout Wednesday, 10 o'clock. We got a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about. Ooh,
yeah, we're gonna unpack the group chat a little bit.
The Cardi B situation is getting crazy, but you know, also just being in Africa, you know, it was very eye-opening experience for a few reasons. But you know,
you don't say.
Rashad. Rashad.
You know,
family discussion.
But I'm down.
Oh man, I told you next time you hear that, yo, we going out there, just clear your schedule.
For real. Tell me what is in a little deposit.
The Maasai tribe, you know, they do the 10 cows. That's the dowry. 10 cows per wife. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk.
How many cows you got, man? $5 grand a cow.
And we also learned that you cannot talk amongst men if you only have one wife.
Or no wife.
Run that back. Come one more time. Hold on.
Yeah.
I got my pen in there.
So you're not permitted. You have to be invited to speak because you haven't had life experience unless you had 3 or 4 wives. And so if you have one, technically you don't really have enough life experience to be part of the conversation. If you got none, you can't even sit at the table.
Well, if you have one wife, you got to ask for permission to have a conversation.
Somebody said noted. Cam said noted.
That's crazy.
This is not relationship advice. This is just the research.
They just reporting back from what they learned in another land.
Doing our journalistic integrity.
Yeah.
From the Maasai tribe. Shout out to them.
We're going to talk about that on Blackout. So tune in to Blackout. That's a sneak preview. Tune in to Blackout. 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I got a feeling that this is going to be a pretty fun conversation. And the last thing I'll say is get your tickets to InvestFest. We will be announcing the first wave of lineup this Friday. Sorry to make you wait long.
Breaking news alert.
Sometimes in life you gotta let the beat
let the beat build. Yep.
And you gotta let it simmer a little bit. But we will be announcing the first names of InvestFest this Friday. And another thing that we've been potentially torn on. Put it in the comments if you think this is a good idea, because when we go into Africa and a lot of different places, we're getting a lot of deal flow. There's a lot of deals that's on the table. So of course, our immediate friends like Ian and people like that, we're going to always bring a deal if he's interested in. But I was thinking about maybe platinum VIP members to have a deal room where it's like we have at InvestFest, we actually have deals being pitched. And platinum VIP members can sit in on the deal room, and if they want to get in on the deal, because there was some deals out there, I'll tell you that much.
That's a great idea.
There was some deals out there that hit. If they hit, it's over.
It's over. No, it's really over.
Yo, y'all broke up. Where the show at? Go to old episodes.
I'm not. Yeah, the if is like and more like when it hits, because it's going to hit. It's going to hit.
That's why you gotta layer them with the long-term investing, with the options.
It's just a matter of if we're gonna participate. That's all.
That's a fact. But so let us know if you think that's a good idea. We're just.
I think that's a brilliant idea, to be honest.
Prince Marcel said that's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm with you, Prince Marcel.
I think that's going to be a good idea too.
Yeah.
All right, Ian. Any announcements?
Bring your checkbook, your wire, laptop to InvestFest. Be ready. I'm telling you, this is the year. Be ready. Shout out to Trav at Teach Jam. I had an amazing time. Shout out to Keys, Ash Cash, Matt, everyone I met there. I love you dearly. Rest in peace to my great aunt, Auntie Emma.
Rest in
to
peace.
my cousin Tracy. I'll be calling you tomorrow. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. Spend time with those that you love. Family is everything. Shout out to Matt Hoffa. I'll be calling you tomorrow. Shout out to everybody in New York. I saw at the cage with my son. My son was out there getting buckets. I will not lie. Ooh, shout out to my baby. And let's have an amazing show. And shout out to the continent. So shout out to y'all for manifesting the in the belly. That part It's
Took it
not
back to
talked about.
Africa.
And one thing I want the audience to realize is, like, in the interview with Khalees and in the preview that you saw online, look at how happy she is. That tells you everything you need to know about the deal flow.
Yeah.
Just how joyous and relaxed she. Oh my God.
Yeah. Shout out to our brother Matty J. We saw him too as well. He put up a nice post about his experience being in Ghana. And I thought it was dope, man. It was one of those moments where you watch somebody that you know be vulnerable about their experience, and he was just like, he's at peace, right? He's not in a consistent battle to try to prove that he is something in a country where it's like it doesn't. What you bring is yourself. So if you haven't checked out his post, check it out.
That was a great lesson.
Yeah, we ran into him as well. Shout out to
Salute to Maddie. Before we end, the last thing we'll say about this is Maddie. So we was in Ghana for my birthday, right before my birthday. So February 26th, I think we left. And we ran into Maddie J. You don't remember Maddie? Remember used to live in Atlanta. So Maddie was in Lagos, and when he found out that we was in Ghana, Lagos and Ghana is like an hour flight away from each other. So he flew from Nigeria to Ghana in February to just hang out. And when we came back now, he never left. He didn't leave.
Really?
He hasn't left.
He hasn't left since.
Smart man.
It hasn't left.
So says a lot.
And it's $2 Uber.
Shout out to Matty J, man.
Right, that's an ill dude, man. But y'all know how this works, man. We're gonna get into our disclaimer. Do your own research. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It is very important that you do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you find on our show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. Continue to do the research, share the research. When it's good research, give credit to where you heard it from. Shout out to the Red Panda family. Shout out to EYL University. Tomorrow we back. EYL University. I got my class. We had to reschedule it, so we'll be back tomorrow. So make sure y'all tap in. We're gonna unpack some things and check our table of investment. But yeah, man, let's get this thing going.
I don't make any money off this. Get your tickets to the deal room. I know I can't get you in. Don't call Ty. He got a new number. Don't call my brother. Don't call Xander. If you're not in the deal room, because if I get a good enough deal, hey, here you go. Like it's 1988. Here you go to check right here. 22% equity.
I got one for you. I got one I think you're gonna like.
Got you.
I definitely got one for you.
We definitely gonna talk.
Black Sam, all money in.
So let's start with gold. And shout out to Black Sam too. Actually, shout out to Marathon.
And
his beach location. Yep. Salute. So gold top $3,400 this week. So this is interesting for a few different reasons, because that's one of these things. Last year, when we did Mike Novogratz show, that was probably in October or September of last year.
Yeah.
And he said the two things that he personally was focused on was Bitcoin and gold.
Hello.
And they both have done tremendously well. And gold just one of these things that just goes up. So I want to talk about gold. And I think it ties into our trip to Africa, because when we just came back, and if you don't know, Ghana, they used to call Ghana the Gold Coast because it has so much gold. So Ashanti, like the singer Ashanti, she got her name from the Ashanti tribe in Africa. Yep. So there's still a kingdom. People don't know that there's still actual kings in Africa. And one of the kings is in Ashanti kingdom. They still have a king. And they said they have so much gold, like it's just the level of opulence is just tremendous. So I was talking to my friend Alvin, and what I've realized I didn't fully understand, because the official language of Ghana is English, but they have their native language is Tree. So most people know at least 2 to 3 languages, and they know English and they know Tree, and then Pidgin. Pidgin is sort of like broken English. But you probably can't understand it if it's being spoken. So they know English a lot of times, Pidgin, and then Tree. So I was getting my hair cut, and I realized that the barber that was cutting my hair didn't know English. So I told Alvin, I'm like, yo, bro, like, and they started laughing. I'm like, yo, I thought everybody knows English. He's like, nah, a lot of people don't know English. Like, if you don't go to school, you're not formally trained. So I'm like, people in Ghana that don't know English? He's like, yeah, they speak Tree. He's like, you go to up north to Ashanti Kingdom. Like, he was like, there's kings with basements full of gold that know no English at all. He's like driving a Rolls Royce. So I was like, how they buy a Rolls Royce if they don't if how you go to the dealership and communicate if the only language that you know is tree, which is a native. He said, look, if they come with a brick of gold and drop it on the table, you think that they're not going to figure out how to speak the language?
Money talks. ChatGPT translate app, the Passport Bro app,
the language is called currency.
So I was like, damn, that's kind of true. I say that to say Ghana is their currency is doing the best as far as percentage uptick this year than any other currency in the world. One of the reasons is that the government has been buying tremendous amounts of gold, and they're buying it for lower prices because they have so much gold there. So that they're building up their gold reserves in Ghana heavy.
Yep.
So this conversation of gold we was having when we was on the continent about gold, and it's working in their favor right now because obviously gold is going up in value.
And the city is up 16% this year.
Yeah. So yeah, somebody said gold is a language. That's a fact.
Yep.
So okay, gold. What do we feel about the direction of gold? Is it just going to continue to go up?
Absolutely. If you look at the actual chart, gold has been going up since 2004. And given the hyper concentration that most hedge funds are having into the semiconductor space, there's a class of investors that don't want to put their money into tech because they don't want the drawdown, and they may not be exposed to Bitcoin yet. And gold is an easy alternative asset or currency to invest in that historically always goes up. Also, kudos to Mike Novogratz for taking this company public. But I will say, if a billionaire, like, we have to take our feelings out of investing. If a billionaire comes on and declares and doesn't gatekeep, hey, I'm looking to buy Bitcoin and gold, we should take that as law. Anybody can have a mistake, but if he's given two great recommendations, we have to find them. 3260 is an area that I would like to get in long term, or if it ever got down back to the 3187 level, I would love it. Buy in there. But year over year, gold has been dominating, and I think a lot of people are just looking for beacons of safety given the inflation that's going up, the debt that's going up. I saw an interesting stat that the bond market has been losing money for 58 months. Like, if that was happening in tech, it would be World War III in Silicon Valley. So in light of that, as Kramer famously said, there's always a bull market somewhere. That's true. And gold is one of them. So yes, that's one of the things that you absolutely need exposure to if you want to have a portfolio that you don't worry about.
Yeah, we talked about the 4-leg strategy, where it's like you have the 4 ETFs that anchor your investment portfolio. Gold might be that 4th leg, right? If we have a semiconductor, if we have a technology, if we have an overall S&P, an ETF like GLD, if you look at the chart, I mean, this is ideally what you want to see from inception to now. Whereas it's one of those anchors. I know Bitcoin is something, obviously Mike Novogratz was spot on with that, but he's been spot on with gold. But most people will say, well, how do I invest in gold? Well, you can go the ETF route. And so now I'm thinking about, like, if I have strong legs to that table, gold might, rather than having QQQ and XLK, both technology ones, and yes, the allocations inside them differ, GLD might be becoming one of those ideas.
Commodity-wise, for sure.
Commodity-wise, that this might be a strong leg based on the long-term sustainability of the asset.
Yeah. The last time gold was in the negative range was 2001. Like,
yep.
Argument over. There's nothing else to argue about. It's been on a hell of a tear. You can go to Costco and get it if you want to, but GOD will give you exposure and hold it for the long term. And if we stay having these political issues, gold will probably get to 5,000 probably by 28 or 29. So
yeah, GLD is the ETF, and 10 years ago it was $112. Right now it's $311. So it's tripled. It's tripled in 10 years, which that's great.
That's a hell of a return.
And that's buying it as an asset. Now, if you want to buy physical gold, that's a little bit more involved process. You got to make sure that you're buying it, and you got it's certified that it's legit and all that. We did meet somebody in Ghana but that's a different situation. It's not easy.
Somebody in Ghana that what?
You
It don't matter. Just text me and that deal I want.
Yeah, a 2
For
minute
sure.
a 2 minute conversation turned into an hour and a half conversation.
That's the deal.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That might be part of the deal room.
Yeah,
But,
Gotcha.
the
You hard
gold,
truck me.
gold play, the Fort Knox play. If you want to actually have gold,
The gold in your
bars,
possession. Yep.
yeah,
the gold in your possession play.
yeah. One of those tips, or just like a hack, not even a hack, but some of the information that we got was look at the countries that are acquiring gold. Really study the countries that are actually acquiring it and adding to their reserves in times like this.
Yep.
It tells you a lot.
It is, and there's a reason why.
Yes.
For sure. Once again, I want to repeat, the bond market has been negative the last 58 months. Bitcoin and gold, please hedge. Long-term indexes hedge. Now is not the time to not be an investor. It's going to cost you too much. Because I can't guarantee that when y'all try and message Rashad on Instagram in 2 years, he probably not going to reply. Not being real. When I didn't know when y'all was coming back, I'm like, damn, let me write a little notice. Hold on.
Oh,
don't
man.
blame you.
Oh man. Well, I'll tell you this. Let's do something that we haven't done in a while. I want to play a clip because I saw something on Instagram and I posted it yesterday. And it was actually very insightful and inspirational at the same time. So can we play this clip?
Let's run it.
I think that being Magic Johnson, that people say, oh, here's a lot of money. And that wasn't the case. Matter of fact, Magic Johnson worked against me. And they said, oh, we want your picture and your autograph, but we don't want to give you the money. And so I got turned down 7 or 8 times from banks about getting capital because I wanted growth and sustainability. And the only way I could do that is to use other people's money. So finally, I went up to Sacramento to the pension funds. They turned me down 3 years in a row. But finally, the 4th year, Cal Purr said, okay, I believe in you, so I'm gonna give you $50 million. And if you're successful with the 50, you can come back and get 100 more million. And so I invested in a shopping center in the inner cities, bought it for $22 million, 40% occupied, took it up to 100% occupied, resold the center for $48 million, took the $26 million profit up to Sacramento, and they said, oh, I guess you do no business. So that's what got me started. Then I was able to get access to capital. So this is what happened. I go up to Seattle, knock on Howard Schultz's door, Chairman CEO of Starbucks, and I said, look, minorities, we like coffee too, but we have to drive 45 to an hour outside our community to get some coffee. So I said, if you build them in our community, they're going to be very, very successful. And so we did the deal. He came down to see my movie theaters and see how I manage my theaters. That was going to be if he's going to decide to do the deal or not. And thank God, Whitney Houston's first movie was coming out, Waiting to Exhale. So I had 5,000 black women wrapped around the corner to come see this movie. So he walks up and he said, man, what's going on here? You know? And I said, Waiting to Exhale's coming out. So every theater is sold out. He had to see how we managed the theater. And then we went in to see the movie. The movie pops up about 20 minutes in. See, we go to movies different than everybody else. So we start talking to the screen. Girl, why you still with him? And Howard elbowed me and had, come on out into the lobby. So we went out to the lobby. He said, Magic, I haven't had a movie going experience quite like this. Guess what? That got me the deal. So it worked out great. We built 125. And the great thing is the headline rolling in the LA Times said, no way minorities are paid $3 for a cup of coffee. Thomas, we'll pay $3 for a cup of coffee. We quite don't know what scones are though.
Yeah.
It's a lot of great lessons inside that clip.
You know what?
A lot of bars.
I was like, this is a case study within itself. And shout out to Magic, because people don't give Magic enough credit. You know, he's a billionaire, right? I think he's actually worth more money than LeBron. He's worth $1.4 billion according to Forbes. And man, his journey, because especially at that time, Starbucks didn't even franchise their locations. He actually had he's one of the first people to actually get a Starbucks outside the Starbucks ownership. And he opened 125 Starbucks. And for me personally, when I saw that story, I thought it was pretty interesting because access to capital, something that we speak a lot about, right? Even him, he had to prove himself and he had to maneuver, get an asset, sell an asset to actually prove that he can actually be worthy of the access to capital. And then from a scalability standpoint, you started off with 125. You didn't start off with 1 or 2,
That's a
right?
great
But
lesson.
also
Yep.
the power, the cultural power, right? That movie kind of sealed the deal for him. That was, he said, 5,000 black women wrapped around to see the thing. And just his ability to actually know that there's something in the marketplace that needs to be done, as far as not having something as small as we don't have coffee shops in the neighborhood, right?
Mhm.
That turns into, and then Magic actually ended up selling his portfolio. He's like a Junior Bridgman. He sold he sold all of his portfolio, then starts buying bought a life insurance company, heavy
Great
in real
investment.
estate, and then he starts buying sports teams. Like he's part owner in the Washington football Commanders. He's part owner in the Dodgers. Is the Lakers too?
LA Sparks.
Lakers?
Not Lakers.
Not
Spark.
Lakers. Spark.
So he literally climbed his way into that billionaire status. It wasn't like one thing. Like he really had to scratch and crawl to become a billionaire. And the stories like that, I think sometimes it's just really inspirational and also informational as well to actually see. So when I saw that, I'm like, damn, this is kind of like, this is some good game in like 2.5 minute clip.
Yeah, and he understood culture. He understood cultural needs. Before the Starbucks, it was the movie theaters. So like even having a movie theater in environments where, you know, Regal or cinema wouldn't put it, he said like, we'd like to go to the movies too. And so you had the Magic Johnson theaters in parts of LA where nobody would put them. We had a Magic Johnson theater in 125th Street where nobody thought people, we like going to the movies, we're going to support it. And so once you bring it, they'll come, and then now you can build infrastructure around it. So then you get the Starbucks and you get other retail spaces to add to what you already had. So I mean, it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
And I think a great lesson in performing at a high level, no matter what you're doing. Like the thing that you're doing now is going to lead to the next example. Like I was talking to Ish this weekend, shout out to my guy. He was asking about Africa as well. I'm like, all roads lead to a certain place, but it's about how can you do one thing incredibly well, and then people will open up the opportunities for you to do other things. I think it's a great lesson to not belittle anything that you're doing, because people are going to watch your level of work ethic and your efficiency for the next opportunity. So hell of a lesson, a hell of a clip.
Oliver said he put the Magic Johnson theater in the jungles. Who else is gonna put a movie theater there?
Nah, he was doing it.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
He put it on 125th Street. He put it in like all the inner city. Because at that time, people take it for granted, but at that time, there was no movie theaters.
It was not being done.
It wasn't done
in the inner city. So he had the foresight to put movie theaters in the inner city. That worked. Then he had the foresight to put Starbucks in the inner city. That worked. So
his name alone attracted people to come to it, not just regular patrons. I remember going just a few years ago. It was like there was premieres. People were having their premieres at his theater. Mission Impossible was there. Like Paw Patrol was there. Like premieres are coming just because of the cachet of the name associated with the person who was owning the theater. So, you know, it's an incredible story in entrepreneurship, but it's also an incredible story in leadership. Yes, we know from being on the court, but like, look at how he's leading in business.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I'll say to all my Black entrepreneurs, don't let anyone make you think that there's not opportunity or money in solely investing in or targeting Black people. Target is going through hell right now for a few decisions for taking us for granted. Nike is going through hell right now for a few bad decisions. They always want to tell us that it may not be an ideal target market, but I think we've proven that's not true. But if you don't believe me, believe Target.
Yeah, I mean, how many quarters in a row are we gonna have to see Target not meet the expectations? I saw the next one is now Dollar General. There's a Target on, well, all pun intended.
You better call. You better call.
Dollar General, you on the
us.
clock. You on the clock.
Cardi, Steph, you better call everybody Black you know.
No, Cardi busy right now. Dealing with some other stuff.
That's a fact. Salute to Cardi. But shout out to Magic. Maybe once a month we could do like a business highlight
on
somebody that has, you know, risen to a high level of success. And like I said, there's only a handful of Black billionaires in the United States of America, from America. And
y'all talked to quite a few though.
He's number 7. So he's one of the richest Black people in American history. On the low, I don't think he gets enough credit or enough recognition. So we got to highlight our superheroes while they're still living. So salute the Magic, man. Congratulations on achieving that billionaire status and keep pushing the culture forward. For sure, it's needed.
I got Prodigy playing in my head right now. That
Which
young
one?
young black entrepreneur.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about Tesla. They said that boy Elon off that ketamine allegedly.
Is it alleged? I thought
Alleged.
Okay, we're going
always alleged.
Always alleged.
Special K.
Special K cereal.
And that black eye.
That black eye was serious. I got 2 kids. I've never been punched.
I've told my son to punch me before, and he wouldn't dare do it. But I'm gonna stay out of.
But even if he did, it wouldn't look like that. Oh, it's serious.
Pray for Elon, yo.
He got the locked jaw, his jaw tweaking, his nodding and dozing.
He's meditating. Active meditation.
That boy tweaking.
We're going to Invest Fest. Active meditation.
Active meditation.
Active meditation.
Yes.
Oh Lord.
X punched him, he said.
Scotty's calling me. Hey, he was geeked up.
Geeked up. Yeah.
Man.
Piped up.
A dog fool.
Turned up.
I mean, but it's one thing to see him operate so efficiently, even while meditating so often. It's a feat to see. You got to commend him for being that active with the kids and the companies and floating that much.
Well, he stepped down from his government position.
Well played.
He caught that Bobby Brown jaw, they said.
Man. Pusha T will be proud.
For sure. Told y'all. And I told y'all that was gonna break up real soon. Faster than I thought. Put yes in chat if I told y'all that little relationship was gonna break up real fast.
Terrence Thornton would be proud.
Okay. All right. So as far as the business side, there's a few different things with Tesla. First, Elon said that there's no need for Tesla to acquire Uber. So is that a strategic flex, or is he missing a key opportunity for integration in the autonomous war for autonomous driving cars in the future?
My only Elon is richer and wealthier than me, so I don't want to offer too much critique. But I will say, I think the thing that is misguided with his robo-taxi network is the dates that he's providing. He's offering dates that seem impossible to be achieved. And I don't think Uber wants to sell it to them. They've done a great job of turning that business around. I do think that their robo-taxi network could have great impact if he said in 3 years, we're going to, and here's the plan year by year to get to that milestone. But to say I'm going to have it in this short of a runway, I don't see how that's possible when you are also working on the robots. Starlink is the real gem that you really need to focus on. The underground tunnel, the company escapes me at the time. The Boring company isn't working. You just went through a breakup with Trump, and post-breakup, sometimes doing business post-breakup is tough. Maybe that's why he was meditating in that office on the last little visit. You know, the last little visit before when y'all break up, but you got to see each other one more time. I wish he would give better milestones, but also give a more of a window for execution. So
yeah,
the stock has been doing well, regardless. Like I said, him being focused is great. If you can get in at 317.79, I wouldn't be mad at the entry there. But I think he is doing the company a disservice by giving these deadlines and windows that are almost impossible to hit.
Yeah, the deadline is moved. It was supposed to be this June for the reveal of the robo-taxi. Has now been pushed to August 8th. So I'm with you on that. There's a couple of things though, right? When you think about a company like Uber, what are they great at? Global routing, logistics, data. They have a huge customer base. Yep. When you think about Tesla in that standpoint, do they have the mobility infrastructure as of now? Probably not, right? Not just yet. What it does, and this is one of the things that you've always said, Ian, and I'll give you credit for it, is that everybody's your competition.
Yep.
And so if you don't look to merge or try to acquire, not that it's on the table, somebody will.
Mm-hmm.
And a company like Google, which has the Waymo self-driving cars that we've seen, right? We were in San Francisco, we saw it in Atlanta. You're going to start
popping up in Atlanta
more.
Mm-hmm.
If they can strike a deal with Uber, now the robo-taxi kind of has a competition in a space where it's like they have the data, they have the infrastructure, and they have the logistics combined with that base and a company that's already doing autonomous.
Yep.
You may not be needed.
The big lesson from last year that every company needs to learn from Drake is don't be aware of the one person who can beat you. What if 3 or 4 team up to actively destroy your career? Google together with Uber would provide a lot of problems because now you have to ask which company is better, Google or Tesla. You have to take Google all day. And Uber CEO has done a hell of a job. You have to given the margin and operating margin issues that they had and the turnaround and the fallout from Travis before he took over. He's done a hell of a job while Elon was not maybe the most focused, and maybe some promises weren't delivered that were supposed to be given to him as well. That's the other part about politics. Like once the cash is in and you start to upset the people on K Street and in the office, your money's already in, bro. You can go home.
Yeah,
go home.
And there's no real like verbiage that says that, hey, we can't partner Waymo with Uber and
For
Lyft,
sure.
right? So if you get both those companies in rideshare, they've taken over the entire market.
Yeah.
Elon, boy, he said he's gonna be more focused. So hopefully, I don't know if that's what that means. Hopefully, you know, he might have to go sit down for a little bit.
He said he's sleeping in the office. Okay,
Starlink is the priority.
He might have to go sit down a little bit.
Even Neuralink as well. They just had a competitor that has now put a chip inside of somebody as well.
Yep.
So is Twitter, is X just a write-off at this point? Is that ever going to be recouped, or it's just the value just in the propaganda that is able to be pushed
I
out?
think he got the value once he made it to the White House and got the contracts. That was part of the strategic investment. So if he put up 288, what did he pay for X? He made that back in contracting already.
42 billion.
And for people that don't know, so X was a company that started from Jack Dorsey. He's another guy that people don't really speak about a lot. Because he's like Jay-Z's best friend, Jack Dorsey. So he's a guy that people don't speak about a lot, but he's one of them ones too. Super billionaire. He actually co-founder of Twitter, then Block, formerly known as Square. Then he purchased Tidal. The Tidal acquisition. Cash App. They own Cash App.
One of the earliest investors into like institutions adopting Bitcoin. But before Kathy, or around the same time, before Michael.
Yeah, so Jack, and he's a very he's like more of an introverted person.
Yeah.
He doesn't like make public appearances too much or speak publicly. But he's a very intelligent guy and somebody that if you're in business, you should definitely be aware of, because he's one of those guys that's been making moves for a long time. So I look at business like you gotta look at like sports. Like, you know, if I tell my son, like, if you want to go to the NBA, you gotta watch not just LeBron, you gotta watch like
all the greats.
Latrell Sprewell's highlight tape. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta study the greats. You gotta know like Karl Malone's like back down move, because this is what you want to do for a living. You gotta study game tape and you gotta know, how did Gary Payton play such good defense? What did he do? Right? Like, how did
Rip Hamilton come off the curl?
Or like the killer crossover. Like, how did like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta actually. So I say that to say, if you're in business, you gotta do the same thing. You gotta study Mark Cuban, and you gotta study, you know, Jack Dorsey. You gotta study the greats in business. You gotta know who Aliko Dangote is. You gotta you gotta look at Robert Smith's backstory. Like, very important for you to have this type of reference, because that's what you're aspiring to, right? Some people say, well, they're billionaires. Like, I'm just trying to start out. Well, you should aspire to be the best.
Still got to study the greats.
If you're coming into the league, you want to be Kobe. You want to be LeBron. You're not trying to be the 7th man coming off the bench, a journeyman. Like, that's not who you should base your career after.
Study the habits. Study the habits.
For sure.
Success leaves clues.
That's what Nip said. Study rich people's habits like it's your homework. That's a fact. That's the homework. So, you know, it's one of these things. You never know, but you gotta do the homework, Ian.
Always.
When given opportunity, gotta be prepared. Preparation.
Yeah. Every shot is a game-winning shot.
So
I keep telling y'all, be ready. You never know when your opportunity may come.
That's a fact. So the robo-taxi hype, is that something that is just a write-off, or is
by
that
August? It's bullshit. It's something that he's just, okay. If you have something you aspire to, but you can't pull it off in time, is it bullshit or not? It is. I'm sorry. I think he can pull it off in 2 years, maybe 3 if he's focused. By August, no. It's hard to get a fire vendor booth from now to August.
I was gonna say this bullshit sell, and then I guess, right, because if you look at the valuation of the company, is being based on, this is not a car company, right? It's based on the valuation of the future technology, robotaxis being one of them. I mean,
at some point he's either going to have to deliver on the robo-taxi, or he's going to have to put Neuralink and Starlink and Tesla all in one bundle to make a conglomerate. I don't think he wants to. Now, if he could acquire Uber, though, it would give him his way to off-ramp and move the company, and he can be chairman, and now you can have another CEO.
So we keep saying August because that's when they're gonna reveal the robotaxi. It got moved to August 8th. It was supposed to happen this month, but it got moved to August 8th.
Go get all the tokens you can from Google Veo 3 and put together the AI presentation. Actually being on the road, it won't be this August. If that's the case, I got some dinosaurs for sale at InvestFest. Vendor booth 28. I'm gonna get you a pterodactyl.
Okay.
If we just gonna flat out lie, what?
Get your vendor booths. That's important. That's important.
What?
Okay. Switching gears. Spending a lot of time in Africa, there was a few different things that we picked up. I will say this about the political, because I'm always interested to know what do people think about America not being in America, right? And it was some interesting consensus. Of course, nobody thinks the same, but we're talking to pretty high level people, especially people in government, and a lot of people said similar situations where they said Donald Trump. They said
We're going into InvestFest. my brother, my black brother. So unless we're going back to Africa tomorrow, he's up. We live. Remember, there's no edit.
Yeah, we are live now. We
live.
Live in the flesh.
I don't think it's surprising. I think people could assume.
This is what they said.
The thought process.
They said that Republicans are usually more welcomed on the continent because they're hands off. They have a hands off policy. So they was like, you know what? We can just deal with the hands off situation because it's just let us do our thing. They said the Democrats are more stifling, and they want to help in the gaze of interference. So a lot of people was actually, there's a lot of pro-Trump sentiment.
I don't know if it was pro. I was.
That shirt looked a mighty MAGA today, Rashad. Hold on.
Yeah. Not. I think they were understanding of why he's in the position he's in, but it was also a disbelief of the uncertainty that we face. And why are we still there if there's all this uncertainty? Why are you why are you investing in a place? Why do you continue to be in a place where there's all this uncertainty and it doesn't look like it's going to change?
But they're definitely pro-Trump.
I wouldn't put that on.
They had a rally for him last time when he lost the election. They had a
wait. Who had a rally?
Which country? Because we're in a few countries.
The country shall remain nameless. Not important. But the bottom line is that the thoughts was the tariffs. They said, tariffs not gonna hurt us anyway. They said, you ever hear tariffs on any African countries? They was like, the tariffs ain't gonna hurt us anyway. It was like, we rather have somebody, at least we know this is what we're gonna have for 4 years. You're gonna stay out of our way. We're gonna be able to just operate correctly. Fine. We're good with that. But they was like, when the other side got in, then it's like, oh, y'all coming over here, y'all trying to do this, y'all trying to do that, you're meddling in things. Interesting global perspective.
Yeah. Be in the deal room. We'll tell you which country. I'm gonna find out. Like a messy bitch. I'm gonna let you know right away. So if y'all go there, what that a rally for him? What 2016?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
One of these things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
One of these things. But I will say this too. Another thing that's very interesting is that people talk about the minerals in Africa, and obviously that's been well documented. But they said the next what's even going to be worth more than that in the next 50 years is vegetation and cattle and livestock, like farming, which is interesting that Khalif has a farm. The farming industry in Africa is that's already big, but it's going to go crazy. Africa, I'm speaking about Africa as a continent because it's all over, right?
Yeah.
But
Sub-Saharan,
there's a need for vegetation in the world. And Africa is going to play a major part in the world's food source moving forward. And that's something that people have already started to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And that's not being talked about enough. But mega farms, like thousands of what they call hectares. A hectare is 1.5 acres.
Yep.
So you're seeing people buy 300 hectares and 400, 500 hectares and growing everything from fruit, vegetables, tea farm. We saw it.
Acres
and acres of tea. I never saw a tea farm before.
Yeah.
They had tea farms in Kenya.
You gotta, so like Kenya is very unique in the sense of its elevation, and especially around Nairobi and surrounding areas. The soil, how fertile it is, obviously the temperature, the rain, the volcanic ash that helps. It's very ideal for farms. So like you're just driving, you're seeing nothing but farming, vegetation, onions, potato, tea everywhere, and it's like, oh, this is a skill set that number one the locals have and they're willing to teach, but it's something that we should be learning as well. Like it's very different here. I remember when we were trying to figure out farming in New York, and that was for a whole different product, but it was like, wait, where do we even get these skills from? Who's supposed to teach us? You know what I mean? It's very different.
I'll say this too about the farming thing. So in Kenya, 80% of the roses that are in Europe come from Kenya. So they said during Valentine's Day this year, it's so many roses that go from Kenya to Europe that they have a private airport just for roses.
That's crazy.
Just for roses. 80% of the Valentine's Day roses in Europe came from Kenya. Italy or France, like they literally sent planes full of roses
to meet the demand.
For all you love bombing.
Who even thinks about something like that, right? Like who knew?
The businesses that are most lucrative are ones that are hidden and no one really talks about.
It's just happening.
FBO for roses is crazy.
They have their own airport for roses.
Wow. Shout out to Stefan Diggs, early investor.
You love bomber.
The love bomb play.
Boy.
Love bomber.
It just confirmed my suspicions.
We're going to talk about the
17 dozen. Because I love
Wednesday. Yeah.
The love bomb.
How much you love me.
And a money flex. I got more money than you flex too.
But that's something to think about, just because in Ghana they have cocoa.
Yep.
And they produce, like, between Ghana and I think Ivory Coast, they produce 80% of the world's cocoa. It's crazy amount of cocoa that comes out of Ghana. So agriculture is going to be the new oil in the next 50 years.
Yeah, there was a post about that. And that's one of those things when we talk about the continent, we talk about it a lot, but everything that you need to survive, they have. Everything.
Well,
literally.
That's why the Europeans came in.
Yep. And now the Chinese are trying to infiltrate.
Everything you could think of, they have.
Yep.
That should tell you something.
Yeah.
Wow, I put out the propaganda to demonize the continent. Everyone's going there to invest.
They're already there.
Yep.
They're already there.
Heavy. Shout out to everybody that purchased You Deserve to Be Rich. You Deserve to Be Rich.
Yep.
Barnes and Nobles released their top books of 2025 so far, and You Deserve to Be Rich was on the list.
That's fire. How to make you feel? You ain't gonna smile? Y'all too cool. Smile and be happy, yo.
I tell you, I appreciate it. That's love, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody in Ghana. Shout out to everybody on the continent that was really tapped in and was like, yo, I have it. I can't wait to get it. We need more bookstores out here so we can have it. It's dope, man. It's dope.
They won't say it. When you do your little review that.
Please.
The review play.
Go review that.
The review play.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about tech stocks.
Yes.
So
one of my favorite areas.
You got Apple, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft. Are they still reliable long-term investments? Or are we seeing peak earnings masked by buybacks and accounting tailwinds?
Everyone put in chat, I will hold for a 5 to 10 year period. These companies aren't going anywhere. Shout out to my guy Sloss I talked to earlier. But even Meta, hell of a move. They plan to automate all of the ads with AI by the end of 2026. Now, for those of you who've ever tried to write an ad or create the copy or do an image, no, it's not perfect yet. But imagine if they get this down. They already are the #1 ad platform, I think, for small businesses. But if they can make it more efficient, once again, everyone Earth is your competitor. You're playing a return on advertising game now and not availability of inventory game. So if Zuckerberg can say, hey, for every small business owner, I know we're having an issue in the economy, but the AI is designed to get you a 30 to 60% return on investment, that's a hell of an idea to have. I know in the 90s and early 2000s, it was software is eating the world, but AI is going to eat up a lot of the software space. But this is a hell of an innovation. Despite Apple missing a boat on a few things, they're still giving a great return. Amazon's doing a great job. And I was saying that this week, past weekend at Teach Jam, like technology runs our world. Whether it's Google, whether it's YouTube, Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, which is owned by Microsoft, you can't avoid, like, there's no natural gas play to invest in that is going to trump the technology space. Just hold for a 5 or 10 year period.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I actually put those in order. I think Microsoft obviously is going to lead when we look at the news last week of
For sure.
OpenAI and the deal that they've done in the UAE. That just speaks to me about data center revolutions again, and that speaks about that 49% ownership that they have in it. They've had
great
growth
investment
inside of the cloud space. Copilot is starting to monetize. Amazon, as you know, has always been my favorite. Even them advertising has grown. Meta, strong, like you said, the avenue that they have grown in is from advertising. They still, this is crazy because the metaverse is still in their books. And so the reality labs that was responsible for that's still a debt that they're still dealing with. So again, that's why we talk about 5 to 10 years, because eventually that will come off the books. Meta's in a strong position. Apple, I mean, they will figure this out. they will figure this out. I know we talk about stock buybacks, but usually when you hear stock buybacks, people should look at it as, most of the times companies are buying that because they're looking at their company saying we're undervalued, we're going to buy it here. That's confidence looking into the future of what we're going to do. In terms of innovation, man, we can say it over and over. We still haven't seen a product. And so those margins on services, they're going to have to carry it for a while until that new innovation comes. But they're all strong companies. If I had to rank them in order, I go Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, then Apple.
And Zuckerberg and Palmer took a picture together.
Yeah.
Like you robbed the boy, and the boy got so good that you had to go make up for him. And we had to. Great partnership between Anduril and Meta, though. And the new move for sure is to get out of consumer tech and go into government hardware. Hell of a partnership. Like,
or
you
both,
have to,
or do both
at the same damn time.
the same damn time.
Well played. You have to give it to him. Zuckerberg is an elusive opponent to be able to kill. Like, you have to give it to him. And kudos to Palmer for agreeing to the partnership as well.
Yeah. young entrepreneurs doing it at the highest level.
Like we always say, there's no money in beef. A lot of y'all take that angle. Boy, that little 22 cents per click, it does not work, bro. I'm telling you, like, I know Carl Icahn and had that little moment on CNBC 15 years ago. There's way more money in collaboration and strategic partnership opposed to I have opposition. Like, bro, it's not the way. He literally stole Oculus from him, and he came back and did a partnership deal anyway.
There's no business. There's no money in that. It only brings police.
Yep.
Ask questions. If put some questions in chat. We are live.
For sure.
Maybe we can get to a few questions from the audience, perhaps. But yeah, put some questions in chat if you have questions.
Did you see Justin Bieber? You better get your act together. Did you see Hailey Bieber's line got acquired by ELF?
$1 billion.
That makeup space. We talked about ELF a couple years ago, but that beauty space, despite having some pullbacks, is definitely a good one to look into. They've had definitely a rougher year, but that gap up was pretty nice from 50 to 113, 77. So for those of you who are interested, that cosmetic space is a very interesting space to look at and invest in, and it's still relatively cheap.
That celebrity influencer, we've seen it now 5 times. From influence to celebrity to billionaire, right? We saw Rihanna do it. Selena Gomez has done it. Kylie Jenner has done it.
This boy about to drop the ball twice with Selena and Hailey. You better, while true. Scooter taking all your publishing, you better send them roses. Well, hey, what's the address for Kenya? What people? Boy, Hailey, you better go to Kenya.
I forgot he was with both of them. That's a fact. Hailey has now done it, and Lady Gaga is on her way. So 5 times we've seen celebrities create beauty brand. And Kim, we can talk about skins, but she has the skin care line as well. We've seen it over and over, right? If you have influence and you have celebrity prowess, you can use that and turn it into business, especially when people are watching you and admiring how you look. You can use that to your advantage. And so we've seen it 6 times already in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Somebody in the audience said, what's your thoughts on MGK, the Vanguard Mega Cap Growth Index Fund?
I thought they was talking about the rapper.
I don't listen to
him. This is actually one that is pretty good that is not talked about a lot. 331.07 is where I would like to enter the stock. And then worst case scenario, if it gets to 309.75, that's where I would like to buy in. But MGK, I like it.
Somebody else had a question and said, what's your thoughts? I think we talked about this before, but Michael Berry, he sold all of his NVIDIA and he's loading up on Estee Lauder. He's bullish on NVIDIA. He's bearish on NVIDIA and bullish on Estee Lauder.
Over what time horizon before because I like Michael Burry a lot. Big Short and shout to Steve Eastman. Whatever Elon on, he got a bad batch of that too. I'm gonna just say it like, and this is why, not to toot my own horn. This is why I be telling y'all, like listen to me. I got you in the video early. Continue to hold. That I would. Okay, this is a sector discussion. Would you, in your right mind, swap out of tech and enter into cosmetic beauty, knowing that the margin is not high enough? Because Estee Lauder is not going to get a $600 billion investment from Saudi Arabia.
Why would it?
No.
Look at his performance over the past 5 years.
He needs to recalibrate the strategy or insights that he is currently having.
Yeah, I would be interested to see what he's basing that off of. In December of 2021, it was at $366. That was a peak over the past 5 years. It is currently trading at $66.
Yeah, and it has probability of going to 27. Worst case scenario, no.
He knows
a wrong sector.
Yeah,
you can't move out of the wrong sector. So tech is driving GDP. Thirdly, Estee Lauder is not even okay for the women. What products from Estee Lauder do you currently love? Just like the white diamonds of the category. Like shout to Estee Lauder and everybody in management, but no, this is not the route I would go. It's like picking Nike over Microsoft right now. But shout out to Mike. We'll love you. Talk to you at InvestFest or after or before. I'm on cleanup mode today. What?
Oh man.
Just like picking chicken shit over chicken salad. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it a buck. No. But it is a good lesson if you are rotating. And that's why I hate sector rotation. If you rotate too much, you'll end up having a portfolio that you have to completely liquidate and start over. He may be saying, I won't invest in NVIDIA because the cost basis is too high. Kathy did the same thing. Cost basis is too high to enter. So while it's affordable, I can see him getting it in and maybe hoping it goes back up to 89, but it's just the wrong.
It's such a drastic. Like, this isn't apples and oranges. I don't even know what to compare this to.
Yeah, it's like not streaming on YouTube and putting it on a mixtape, a CD, burn CD,
yeah, Vine or something like that.
That's not the way to go. But kudos to Mike. I like him a lot.
So let's do one more question before we get back to the regularly scheduled program. And then maybe later on in the show we can do questions again because we're getting a lot of good questions. But shout out to everybody on chat. 6,000 people on
Appreciate y'all.
Yo.
Chat.
Yeah.
Chat.
Yeah.
Chat. We back. We back at it. Okay.
I miss doing a live show. I'm not gonna lie. See, if we get all the penthouses by each other in Kenya, go room to room like Duke Dennis.
Duke the Menace.
Duke Dennis.
Yo, shout out to DDG, man. He was out in Houston. They tried to line him up. You know?
Oh.
Yeah, I saw it.
He was streaming. They were like, yo, get out of the restaurant. They lining you up behind you.
Gotta be careful.
Got right out of there.
They try to rob him?
Shout out to the chat.
About to. The chat was like, yo, they're lining you up behind you, bro.
Yep. Chat
saved his life in there.
For real.
Chat.
Shout out to H-Town.
Okay, so this is a question from the audience. This is one of these stocks that's going up 50% in a month, so I think it's got a lot of attention. But the name of the ticker is APLD. APLD. Applied Digital Corporation.
They sound
choppy waters for 10 years, choppy waters for 5 years, choppy water for 2 years, choppy waters for 1 year, choppy waters for 6 months.
Yeah.
But it's 1 month chart looks good.
Yeah, 1 month chart higher.
The reason it happened today, they signed with CoreWeave for the AI lease agreement. So we spoke about CoreWeave. Shout out to everybody that has invested in CoreWeave. I know that's one of the things when we talk about when companies IPO that we're going to wait at least 6 months. If you didn't wait 6 months, you're making a killing right now. I think it IPO'd at 39. It's in over 130 right now, or hit up 130. And so today they announced an agreement with Applied Digital to help them build out the data center. So this is one of these data center plays where CoreWeave will provide it with AI, high performance computing infrastructure with NVIDIA. So that's an NVIDIA partner that can provide it. And we talked about this, the cost analysis that it would take for somebody to create their own data center, to put the racks and to put all the infrastructure inside. CoreWeave is now put it at a space where you can now actually rent, right? Rather than purchasing it, NVIDIA has partnered with it to give it GPUs, and you can rent the space. And Applied Digital has just announced that partnerships, which they went up 48% today. So that's why you saw this move.
If you got in around $5, I would take some profit, maybe 30%. If you're looking for an entry back into it, I will wait to maybe 550 or 564.
Yeah,
and re-enter. It's going to pull back some. Normally, historically, when it got to 11, anytime it always pull back. So I would wait for probably 564 to re-enter, but I would definitely take some profit.
I would even suggest that you look at CoreWeave instead.
Better investment,
right? The company is actually
pricier, but better investment.
Has caused it to have such a because more companies are going to say we can't afford to create our own data center. What is the next best option? And CoreWeave is now in position to help companies, small to mid-tier companies, actually participate in this AI revolution. And so CoreWeave it was on our list when we came back from the NVIDIA conference. We said, what are the companies that they're talking about? What are the companies that they're talking about? And every slide that Jensen brought up,
Great investment from
was
NVIDIA.
brought up every single slide. And so
Mhm.
that would be a company, again, we mentioned it when they IPO, but rather than try to take a risk with Applied, look at the company that actually helped them appreciate like they did today.
Yeah, but if you got in, great job. Absolutely great job.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about Palantir. Palantir landed a $795 million federal contract
Surprise.
with the IRS and Social Security. Is this a long-term moat building moment or just a headline-driven speculation on federal AI use?
Shout to Alex Karp, shout to the architect and Peter Thiel. One of my concerns is, I mean, they wrote it out. Basically, you have Big Brother at scale that will begin to target Americans in the country. Hey, baby, I'm broadcasting. I'm broadcasting. I love you.
Then said,
Say
let me just
hi.
watch
Say what's up, my boy?
real quick, man.
You love making.
This man is the most goofy, crazy man.
Am I? Okay. How about this? No. Illustrative moment. You know what's
No.
goofy? Not playing Madden for 4 months.
Damn. When you
Hold on, I want you to come back. I want you to come back. Come on, come back. Wherever you act up at, that's what I'm gonna demonstrate at. 4 months, my boy. Okay.
Hey, yo, you just lost Madden 26, man. Shout out to Saquon on the cover.
So if I do this with my son, when y'all get to talking in the comments, I'm gonna demonstrate the same way.
When your son calls you this, man, you know.
Oh yeah, you don't got to do all the just one time. Pow pow. Okay.
Damn.
So like Palantir, I'm gonna surveil and beat that ass. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It's just jokes for anybody. Allegedly. But no, Palantir is going to surveil Americans at the highest rate we've ever seen. And this is my issue with black and brown people. I'm going to be very serious in a lot of DEI. How can you be pro Palantir when that weaponry is going to be used against us?
Yeah.
So here we are. Investment is good, but if you wouldn't invest in chattel slavery or other things, I don't know how you would invest here.
Yeah, I feel like it is a long-term moat building moment. We already spoke about the government contracting and how much of a percentage of the revenue comes with that, but you're starting to deal with IRS, Social Security. I mean, you build
extreme targeting.
Like who else do you need, right? Like you're already dealing with the defense. They start just dealing with every government agency. You really can't compete with that. So the moat just got bigger. We're talking almost a $1 billion federal contract, another one.
Yeah.
Who can facilitate that type of infrastructure and deliver? And I mean, obviously they were at the right time in the right place with the right technology. So here we go again. We said this when we were in the mountains in Switzerland, and we went to see what Palantir, and we were talking to the people. They were like, "This is what's coming. Here it is. Here we are. This is enemy of the state type technology."
And black and brown people wanted this for return. It's too late now. We got all the little data. It's tough.
You'll know your breakfast.
What do we feel about China? They worked out the deal, and then 2 days ago, Trump said that they grossly violated the terms of agreement. He didn't actually give any explanation.
Yeah,
he said they grossly violated terms of agreement. Is this political pandering, or is this a sign that the China situation could actually get a little worse?
I just think we don't have any leverage, and there's not a lot of respect there. They even brought out with the taco trade, like you're going back and forth. You're going to say 100% tariff, then it goes down to 50 or 200%. Now it's 100. It's a little bit of gesturing. I don't think that he's maybe necessarily pandering, but as we've highlighted before, I don't think he's done a great job with sticking to a plan. I don't think it was completely thought out by him and everyone who may be in office and what the blowback can be. So we have no leverage. We need China. China needs us, but they're willing to stand firm a little bit more on their decision.
Yeah, they said they're going to speak one-on-one at some point this week, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
So when the headline read today, I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. Expect to see a pullback in some of these tech companies and definitely the tech stocks again. Obviously, with the 145% tariffs that were put in place and then pulled back and 90-day suspension. So at some point, maybe we'll get some certainty around this, right? If they talk face to face, maybe they'll figure something out. But yeah, I feel like it was a bit of a pander, because if they were going to meet already, this is just that first headline until something else happens.
It's not a good thing to say going into a meeting either.
That you.
And if anything, he's going to give us consistent uncertainty.
Consistent uncertainty.
Yeah, it's interesting. We monitor the situation. Might even have to just go out there for some investigative journalism, because there's so much conversation that we've been having about China for the last 5
year
months.
and a half. Yeah.
I think it's time to just see what's actually happening in China. I'm interested.
Pay him a visit.
I'm interested.
You going to see Gigi?
Perhaps.
Got you.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
Speaking of China, Jamie Dimon said China is a potential adversary, but I worry more about the enemy within. What do you think about his commentary and Jamie starting to speak more freely about the concerns of America?
Well, he also said that America shouldn't be focused on buying Bitcoin. It should be focused on buying guns. Military.
Jamie want to be on blackout so bad.
Say what I want now.
Guns, military, artillery. What else did he say? He said guns, military, artillery, and he said a third thing through.
It's not a good sign coming from one of the preeminent leaders in the banking space, but he ready to go. He's ready to go.
Go where?
Like go. What you mean?
Leave
go?
JP Morgan.
You think?
Yes, I think so.
Run for president?
And you're going to get shellacked. You better go get Bernie. The Democratic side is not working, my boy. You better go wait. Now, if you was pro Bitcoin and then ran, see, that's why I like all the America shouldn't bet. You should have backtracked. America needs Bitcoin and guns. The Bitcoin party would have got it done.
I would like them to define who the enemy within is.
This is the part in the enemy of state where we like get thrown in the back of the van. We can't have that conversation. Not on Google's YouTube.
If you like, if you like to speak freely.
Mm.
No, you know what? Before when he brought up China, it just hit me when we were talking to a lot of the the people in Africa. One of the things they talked about was EVs.
Mm-hmm.
The EV market came up, and we would just kind of question, like, what's the EV that everybody's looking for? And they were like, it's not even close. BYD. Not even close. Like, there's not even a second thought. Like, it's BYD. And I'm like, well, what is it? What about it? They were like, it's efficient. Did he apologize?
It's too late.
He just saw that Saquon's on the cover of 26.
He was too late, my boy.
They were like the affordability.
Go to the hole.
Pause. How it's engineered, it makes more sense for the environments. And I was like, well, what about Tesla? They're like, nobody wants a Tesla. Nobody in Africa wants a Tesla. Everybody is looking
at
if it's going to be an EV on the continent. From what we're hearing it's BYD. It's Chinese.
Well, why?
EV.
But why would they want BYD?
Well, the cost was the first thing, right?
Yeah,
because you can get a $12,000 or a $16,000 car. Whereas Tesla, the starting price is $40,000, $50,000, right? And then they were like the modifications of it. I know that was one of the knocks against Tesla. How much can you modify it? Chinese, then there's a few other models, but the BYD was another one. They're like, it could be modified. Its use case is much easier. We even got in the Uber, and it wasn't even a BYD car, but I was like, yo, this is nice. It's spacious, it's clean, and it's affordable.
Well, also, China has invested tremendous infrastructure and influence on the continent of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So it's not surprising that their car would be prominent in a place that they've already invested billions of dollars in. Almost every country in Africa. There's no country in Africa that China doesn't have. There's no country in Africa without a Chinatown.
I told you.
We haven't been. Have we been to one?
Think about no. Think about that. America has over 250 military bases across the world in different countries. China has won.
Yep.
There's a Chinatown in every country in the world. You ever see America Town?
Nope.
They have a different strategy than we do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's working.
And it's working. Yep. I just saw Stock Club the other day. It's another phone maker. They're dominating in the EV space as well in that $10,000 to $22,000 range. And maybe as a leader of a company, you don't tell a continent that you aren't favorable towards Black people when you buy a media platform that the world can see.
Perhaps.
Like at least Rockefeller and Carnegie, they hit it. And that's when racism was permitted. They hit it. Rockefeller just went on the street and passed out dimes and dollars all day. You want to tell the world, no. Then you want to make Europe great again. Well, it's going to hurt your Chinese sales and your Africa sales.
We spoke to somebody yesterday. I was speaking to somebody yesterday, and they were saying that their parents. So I'm pretty sure you saw the video of China. They were teaching their kids how to speak Swahili. Mm-hmm. But Africa has over 300 different languages that's spoken. It's a very complex linguistic landscape. So I knew that they was already teaching kids to speak Swahili on certain levels because that's the most widely spoken language, native tongue in Africa. But found out that they was teaching the kids to speak Tree and Wolof also. Wolof is a language that's spoken in Senegal. Tree is a language that's spoken in Ghana. So they was saying like when they found they was having a fluent conversation with a Chinese guy and he was speaking fluent Tree.
What you say 8 weeks ago? It's over, man.
It's over.
No, we don't see it. We don't see it. We went to the ports.
We tried.
We saw the ports taken over in Jamestown. We saw the infrastructure being built. We saw the local fishermen that probably won't have that position in about 2 to 3 years. It's happening.
So I say that to say, Jamie Dimon, I think he has good intentions, but I just think American strategy has to change. We can't do the same thing that we've been doing for the last 100 years. You have to play differently. Inclusion is important. It's not just about military strength. It's not just about focusing on just America, make America great, America first. Man, it's a big world that we live in. And there's a lot of things that's happening all over the world. And the average American has no idea about it because even the news that we digest is only focused on local. It's not focused on things that's happening outside the world. We're getting left behind.
Yep.
And the rest of the world is moving forward at a very fast pace. And if we don't rethink the way that we're actually doing things, as far as on the media, as far as on education, as far as on just everyday life, we're going to be in big trouble.
That's too late.
No, we in trouble.
It's too late. Politics is one of the reasons. It's too short-sighted. Lobbying plays a factor into that. American media plays a factor into that. Education has been sold off 80 years ago. That's tough. It's almost like they go get your tickets to Invest Fest. Maybe we'll have some solutions for you in the deal room. But international exposure is incredibly important.
It's vitally important, man. It's vitally important. So just take that into consideration. Market Monday, it's a stock investment show, but bigger than that, it's a business show. And it's a show that actually, is supposed to prepare you for the future. So we got to tell you what's going on, but that's just something just to consider. Like, you cannot get caught thinking this nationalistic way. It's harmful. And it's something that, like I said, you're just looking at China. You could say a lot of things about China, but they have a globalistic view of things, and they're executing this. They're executing a global plan at a very efficient rate.
Yep. Can't argue with it.
But what do I know? Just a guy on YouTube. Okay. Spotify stock is approaching key breakout level. Is this a sign of a real platform momentum, or just a short-term technical setup?
I mean, I guess all that time from not paying artists is paying off for the labels. They're 672 right now. They keep hitting new highs. Maybe an entry around 586 would be good. But yeah, Spotify is a good investment long term. Daniel's a great CEO. You can't argue with that. But if you want exposure to the music business, and I've told every artist this, invest in the platforms that are taking all of your rights away. It's the only way you're going to be able to get any retribution or financial contribution at an equal level back. They may be poised to hit $1,000 maybe in like 2.5 years. So
yeah, they actually saw, so they had 615 million monthly active users, and their premium subscriptions are up 14% year over year. And so they cut back. Actually, I know we keep talking about podcasts, but they actually cut back on podcast spending. Where they saw an increase was the audiobook expansion, because that's original content.
Yep.
So, shout out to the audiobook. You deserve to be rich. Go get it now. But that's a place where they saw some acceleration, and it begs the question, right? Can Spotify look at the Netflix blueprint and model that for audio in terms of, yes, you're licensing a lot of the music now, and you're licensing even from a standpoint of some of the books and audio. What happens when they create original content long term and they have a sustainable model in that sense? Or could it be in a live space of long form theatrics, right? I know a lot of people are talking about those crime series where they feel like audio movies. If they can figure out how to cash in on that, $1,000 is not out of the question, because it's original and you're saving on that cost spend of licensing content from the music platforms. What's your thoughts around it?
Would it be short-term audio or a short form or a long form audio?
Long form. I think long form. As more people are becoming conditioned to listen, especially long form podcasts.
Yeah.
And I heard it in the crime stories, and it was like it almost
For
becomes
sure
like listening to Law and Order, right?
Yep.
Creating that, making it original content around that. Long term, that's sustainable, because
and the costs are cheaper, not to cut you off, than building out a full TV show.
I was going to say, and the margins are much better going that route. And even inside the audio books, and that's something that we actually learned, right? The margins that they get on the audio books are a lot greater. And the cost spend, obviously, when they spent a lot of money, they did on a lot of podcasts, and it didn't pan out. But they pivoted and they found another route. So taking that model, I remember when Netflix was leasing all the content, and then you had all these streamers, Peacock, come about, and they're like, hey, we want some of our original programming back. The licensing deal is up. It was like, well, what are they going to now put on it? And they figured out a way to create original content, have it spaced out, and now you've seen they've moved into live events. This is a model that perhaps they could replicate inside the audio space if they're clever enough.
I agree 1,000%, especially in that crime genre. There's a few niche genres that can grow, and the costs are not that high to produce an audio show versus fully producing out a set or a series. So I definitely think so. And I think they're going to reimagine podcasts in the future at some point too, given that the Golden Globe thing is in play now as well. Those of y'all who criticize, y'all won't be there, but for those of us that actually change the world and add some value, if I made you money, please put yes in chat.
Donald Trump, he signed the Larry Hoover. We're gonna talk about that on Wednesday. But interesting.
For sure. Talk about hedging your bet.
Was that a strategic distraction play?
Strategic distraction.
1,000%. Because Larry, hold your head. Little Larry, hold your head. I mean, if he still has to serve 200 years in state, it's. And same with Derek Chauvin. He's probably going to pardon him. I wouldn't be surprised. But
that would be.
But he still has to serve state time for that as well. So if I get you off your Fed case, and then he's looking to solidify his base for sure.
Yeah. NBA young boy.
Well played.
Yeah.
Hey, can't say I'm racist. I got our young boy.
Yeah.
Wasn't fake news. Wasn't fake news.
See the CEO of Nikola when we talk about bullshit self.
Oh yeah.
With the devil fraud. He on.
Yeah. And a few of them who invested in that coin. Whew. But
yeah,
that's above my pay grade.
What's the dude who had the HGTV show or one of them networks?
Oh yeah, he was talking about
how black men were treated in prison, right? You seen that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we gotta talk about that on Blackout.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. What about? Okay, is there a hidden recession signal that we're seeing? That people might not have been actually uncovered as of yet, or
no, it's been uncovered. I want to go back to it. The bond market has been in drawdown for 58 months. The largest drawdown in American history prior to that, I think, was 16 months, maximum 18 months. This is not a good sign. I mean, the signs all around. The world is at the highest debt levels. We're at the highest debt levels. Credit card rates are at the highest ever. When hedge funds own 20 to 30% of the homes in major cities, there's a bunch of canaries in the coal mine that are telling you. When Jamie Dimon comes out and tell you, yo, go get the strap, guns and butter, go get you a Glock. Strap. He's talking like a rapper. Go get a Draco and lock your doors. When Bitcoin has increased in value the way that it has in comparison to the American dollar, and I keep saying it, most indexes and ETFs are not outpacing the returns of Bitcoin. There's a bunch of signs. Gold being at the price that it is. Saudi Arabia investing $600 billion into our country, and no one has said a word in the paperwork about what's the percentage. I give you 600%, 600 billion. I want Diddy percent to 85-15, and the royalties. And the next project you do, and if you end up on Law and Order, Tech, I want what? No one has mentioned what percentage of ownership do they get. Do you think they just got common stock? No. While Saudi Aramco is what, 5th on a market cap list worldwide? When you got white people going to Africa, this is bad. Not South Africa too. They're investing in other parts where we at. Yo, I want some jollof rice, and I'm bringing the tech here. What? Why are you bringing AI to the jollof rice place? Scary.
to automate the process.
Scary as hell, yo. I'm not gonna lie. Even Daniel from Spotify, he working on a new startup. That scares you. Got something that's working, damn near $1,000 a share, and you're working on another company as a hedge.
The recession play.
Yeah, but will they announce it? That's the interesting part. Will they announce that we have hit recession? Yeah.
Stay paranoid, my friends.
For sure. Did they look at us like a laughing stock, the country politically? In
America? No, I wouldn't say in the laughing stock. I would say that there's a lot of uncertainty as far as what's currently happening in the political landscape and political theater of America. But
did they laugh while saying that?
A lot of people may have questions, but I think a lot of people are still optimistic about America as far as the idea of what it represents. The illusion of it, I think, is starting to wear off a little bit. Like, as far as like how people used to look at it, like it's like the promised land, like you go there and you're going to, become rich. Like there's a lot of people that we met on the continent that lived in America. The guy that moved back to Africa. So the guy that we went to the Masai Mara.
Masai.
It's safari that the Lion King was based on.
Okay.
It's like the real Lion King. You get a chance to do it. It says like the 8th wonder of the world.
The Great Migration of animals going through it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happens once a year.
Yeah.
They have lions, they have elephants, they have white rhinos, which is a very almost extinct animal. Everything you could think of.
Yeah.
And they have a very luxurious, they have a bunch of luxurious suites and resorts there. So we had we had a lunch at a one of the resorts, and the guy that manages the resort is from the tribe. Remember we talked about you get one wife per 10 cows? That's the Maasai tribe.
Okay.
They're one of the few tribes on the continent that still kept every part of their culture intact.
Okay, that's incredible.
During colonialism, after colonialism, like you go visit them, they still live in the same housing that they lived in 300 years ago, same traditions, same everything. So the guy that runs the resort is from that tribe. He grew up in that tribe.
Okay.
Then he went to college in America, HPU, Hawaii Pacific University. Now this is where the story gets interesting. Then he goes to graduate school in America. But he just didn't go to any graduate school. He went to Harvard. So he went to Harvard graduate school. He's obviously a very intelligent person. He stayed in America for a few years. And then he went back. And he's living back where the tribe lives.
Does he live with the tribe? I don't think
he doesn't live with the tribe,
yeah.
but he lives on grounds.
Yeah.
So he was just saying, like, yeah, America was good. It was cool. But why would I want to live there? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that was a common theme.
Why?
We met a girl, Fatima. She went to school at Wharton, one of the best business schools in the world, University of Pennsylvania. Similar story. We met somebody that went to school at USC. A lot of very prestigious education. People went to America, lived in America, went to top schools in America, and left, and have no plans of coming back.
And if it was not for his mom wanting us to stay here, I would be with Presidente Scheinbaum full time.
Presidente
I've asked many times, can we just wrap this shit up and just...
So that was a common theme.
Yeah.
I don't think it was too much of people, like people still look at America as a great place, a lot of opportunity, very inspiring place. But they're just like, yo, man, it's a lot. It's just a lot that goes on over there. Like, I like to be here for 5 years, but for eternity,
the luster of that illusion, that American quote unquote dream, and kind of like why we started the book with that, like the American dream is a lie, because for us internally we understand it, but for foreigners they understand it too. When people come back and they're asking us what the experience is like, and we tell them, they're like, really, is it really like that? And like, yeah, there's a lot of challenges that aren't masked, and then we tell them our perspective of how the continent was given to us, right? How it was fed to us. Right. And so there's just a knowledge exchange that's happening. Like, hey, this is how we saw Ghana, right? We never saw beaches. This is why even yesterday I had never seen kids outside playing in sports activities. And we saw a lot of things. And I'm like, wait, let's unpack that. Like, why haven't we seen that? Like, these things exist. We need to show it. We need to make sure that people understand that this happened. But then tell them like what the experience is like being Black in America and the complexities of that. Because a lot of times we even had a conversation yesterday. They were like, there are people, if you go in the northern parts of Ghana, the only time they've ever seen somebody white is maybe on TV. They've never encountered anybody in person. And so there's a knowledge exchange that needs to happen and needs to continue happening, which is why it's important that we go back, which is why we get to help shape narrative and explain things, right? Because like these conversations, like, well, you never came back. Well, what was it that made you come back? And they tell you why they came back and all the opportunities that were presented to them when they came back, and some of the struggles with they try to do it here in America as a foreign student, and some of them on visas as well. But it's interesting, man, that the conversation, the dialogue needs to happen. I know some people in the comments were like, well, how do they feel about you coming over there? And it was like, they feel welcoming, right? It's a welcoming thing because they want to know, they want to understand, so we can work together. I think that's the common thing. Yep. How can you share knowledge with me so that we can now work together?
Despite the propaganda.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll say this too about because Khalees is another person that said that she's not coming back to America. And she's from America, obviously. You know, America, God bless America. America is great, but what white supremacy does is dehumanize anybody that's not white, and it plays tricks on your mind.
Yep.
So, like Troy said, like we went to a sports facility and we was watching kids. It was like AAU programs, like for basketball and soccer and running track, and it's interesting because you never thought that was even happening. Which is actually embarrassing to even say that. But that's because even talking to somebody on the continent, they were saying like, you know, whenever you thought a child in Africa, it was Hakeem, sponsor Hakeem for $2 a day. That's just reality, right? Like you saw a kid with pot belly.
And flies on his face.
And it's like, yo, for $1 a day, you could feed a child.
Nobody knows what that child is.
What that does is that plays tricks on your mind. And psychologically, years after seeing that commercial, you never really thought that there was a youth AAU program with kids just living and playing. Like you only equated struggle and poverty, but there's struggle and poverty everywhere, including here.
Absolutely. At very high levels.
But the images that's pushed to the world, when you think of Europe, like even you see people go to Europe for Europe trips, right? Like spend the summer in Europe. All the celebrities, all the athletes, they do Euro trip, and you go to the best countries in Europe, but you never see anybody do an African trip for the summer.
Yeah,
there's no backpacking.
Why is that? So
propaganda.
Backpack boy.
Yeah, propaganda.
Yeah. And there's plenty of things to see. Like we were there for 2 weeks. Like think about the things that we saw just naturally within that 2 weeks. People said like you would need a lifetime. Like that would take 6 weeks to even see some of the things, whether it was the gorilla trek or encountering lions or like you said, the rhinos and seeing the Mara. It was these things. People, especially in Europe, understand the importance and significance and the beauty of it. We haven't had that narrative, right? Like had we not gone to the Mara and seen it for ourselves, it was like, oh, this is something that's been hidden. When we were in Nairobi, oh wow, like this is a tech hub. When we were in Kigali, holy, like wait, this is one of the cleanest cities I've ever seen in any place I've been in the world.
Yeah,
it's been kind of hidden from us, so I'm glad we got to unpack it.
It's also like goes back. It's even bigger than the black thing. It's an American thing because white people in Europe know all about Africa. They always did. They always did. That's why they colonized the place. You go there now, there's a bunch of white tourism. And from Kenya to Rwanda, all over. These are white people that's coming from Europe that's spending $3,000 a night to watch gorillas or bird watch or go to the safari. They know about it. We in America is not pushed, but it's not a secret. Chinese is there heavy. Europeans have always been there, and they continue to go. They're embedded in the fabric of countries. You really look at it like that standpoint, like they're embedded in the fabric of countries. That's how long that they've been there. That's how much land ownership they have. That's how much influence that they have. Middle East people, met people from Iran that's been there for generations. Lebanese, you go anywhere in West Africa, most of the nightclubs are owned by people that's Lebanese. So it's just our part of the world isn't shown certain things, but it's not a secret. We're just not educated.
Yeah, we're not informed. To the brother in the comments who said, if America's so bad, get a flight and be free. I don't know if you know, we already free.
Facts.
Breaking news alert.
So, and if listen, we're not saying that America bad. Your president said that.
Facts.
That's why I said we got to make America great again.
Facts.
For the record.
That's a fact.
So, but what do we know? One day, y'all gonna broadcast and hop on live, and we're gonna be like, "Yo, it's been real. I fuck with y'all. I love y'all dearly, but
I fuck with y'all.
Oh, you got passport bros.
I fuck with y'all.
You should have listened." That's another thing of whitewashing. Y'all will come to me and say, "What do you think about this white analyst take?" I'm like, "I put y'all in the stock 3 years before anybody was talking about it. What do you think of Stephen Horowitz's analyst take on where Nvidia will go?" Okay, I'm gonna take it right to Africa.
And they sell you, and it's a teachable moment because they sell you shit that they themselves are not doing. They tell you to pledge allegiance to the flag, to put America first, while they are in Saudi Arabia.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
while they have military bases in every part of the world.
Well,
while they have offshored money to the Caribbean islands for years, while they have gone to South America for years, while we get 60% of our GDP from foreign countries. They want you to focus on that because you can just stay broke and just stay focused on a job. They themselves don't play a domestic game.
They said something super, super impactful, and it like hit me like a ton of bricks. He was like, think about 25 years ago about the country of Saudi Arabia. Would that even be a place that people would go? Let alone right?
Get investment from
25 years ago in 2001, right? We obviously know what happens on 9/11, and we absolutely know where a lot of those people who those terrorists came from. That country is now where the leaders in the world of technology have all come to have a meeting to figure out how we're going to divvy this $600 billion up and launch infrastructure. 25 years in our lifetime, that's happened.
ExxonMobil was probably one of the biggest companies in 2000. And now our greatest tech innovations have to go get funding from another country. Once again, while Saudi Aramco is publicly traded and probably by 2032 could be number 3 in global market cap. And once again, just like the music industry, nobody told you the paperwork on what percentage they own.
Get your money.
Check his paperwork. That's the real paperwork I need to be checking. Y'all worry about 1090 Jake exposing somebody.
Who's that? I don't know that.
Yeah, I need to be checking that paperwork.
For real. The investment play.
That's a fact.
What?
That's a YouTuber?
You know Diddy's court documents.
No updates on that.
Yep. Interesting.
What's important? What you put your attention to will determine your future. And we all have a choice. You have a choice and a chance every day. What you focus on is going to determine what you'll be successful in life. You'll either be successful at being a gossip queen. You'll be successful about knowing the latest hip hop lyrics. You'll be successful about knowing Diddy's trial like the back of your hand. You'll be successful in having a high level of street cred for whatever that's worth, or you'll be successful at international business, arbitrage, government. You choose, but you will be successful, and you can be a successful failure.
Hello. But do as you please. Inflation is only going to continue to get higher. For everyone who keeps saying the debt is just high, and somebody told me on Twitter, you don't know how money printer works. I had the fortune of going to where they actually print the money.
I know how it works.
That's why we're in this fucking situation now. But okay, gotcha. I feel you. I hear you.
I know how it works on a number of levels.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
yep,
we do love you.
Yep, a lot, a ton, from the bottom of my heart.
It's always a pleasure to have Market Mondays, the most impactful show of our generation.
For sure.
appreciate you guys so much for taking time out of your week.
Mm-hmm.
It means the world to us
Absolutely.
because you
Yeah.
could be anywhere. It's primetime television.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to take the time to invest in your education says a lot about your seriousness. And that means a lot.
Yeah.
That means a lot. So thank you.
America has mastered the art of getting Americans to watch people who will get robbed instead of watching people going to teach you how to get rich. Shout out to all my actors and actresses. They're going through hell too, especially with this AI stuff. I was
Tough
talking about
tough times
time.
for Hollywood. Tough times for Hollywood right now, for sure.
Yes.
And music. A lot of musicians are struggling. I saw
Mm-hmm.
Jadakiss and Fat Joe talking about
We're gonna talk about on Blackout.
living check to check.
Yeah. There was, we posted that, right? There was I think some of the core 3 music distribution companies are now merging with AI companies.
Sure.
I mean, that's almost.
But if
like
you sign your life rights away and everything in perpetuity, y'all get tired of me talking about equity and royalty. It's a reason why if you sign over your rights, they can make all the remixes in the world with the AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all let White Jeezy go viral on the internet. Like, what are we doing, yo? Shout to him though, but shout to Jeezy.
This Thursday, we got Khalees.
Amazing.
At 6:00. That's going to be a dope episode. We did it in Kenya. We talk about her experiences moving from America to Kenya, everything you need to know, how her kids adapted, school system,
Yep.
buying a farm, buying land, the process of getting a lawyer and make sure that she was doing it the correct way. So much stuff to talk about, man. Shout out to Khalees. Visionary for sure.
Yeah. Shout out to my brother Alvin on the check-in. He said, I can't believe you're not here. Shout out to Alvin, man.
We got a great question. I don't know if you guys want to answer it, but you got EYL has built a media empire without traditional gatekeepers. What's one specific move or strategy that helped you bypass the mainstream and allowed you to still win?
Building a community. That's why I always tell people, whether it's social media, they say, like, how do I build a social media? Like, build a community. I feel like we have a community. We had a community before we had even a show.
Mm-hmm.
It was an Instagram page with people that was relying on information that we was given, and then people was in comments. They might be debating with each other. They might agree with it. They might not agree with it. And that's still to this day. Market Mondays is a show that we haven't missed. Blackout show that we haven't missed. Like, these are live shows, and you add Earn Your Leisure to that. Then you add Invest Fest, which happens every year. We do the live events, Market Mondays live. So these are communal. It's a communal vibe. So
and consistency. Y'all just flew 22 hours, 17 hours back. Most people would have said, yo, we'll be back next week.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Never miss Market Mondays, no matter what.
No matter what happened.
No matter
I know
what
happens. No joke. My family's upstairs thinking how crazy I am. I'm like, nah, we got the people need it.
They need to.
So yeah, I think you got both consistency, number one, but building a community. Like y'all are the reason that it spreads into a base of, number one, trust. I think that's one of the things we kept saying over and over, that the way that people trust the information and they keep coming back for it is extremely impressive. Like when we were on the content, everybody kept saying like they've never seen anything like this, right? Like 2 black men are giving the information, 3 black men on Market Mondays are giving the information that people are relying on and changing their families' lives. Like never in history has that happened. And so it's because of y'all. Y'all watch, y'all tune in, y'all execute, y'all tell somebody else. When y'all see us, it's real because we show love and we get love back, and we keep doing it on a consistent basis. Like that's how you grow community, and that's how empires get built. So we didn't need anybody to co-sign it or like give us a pat on the back or like, yo, here's my hand, let me pull y'all up. Like we rolls with y'all. Shout out to y'all.
And it's a great time in human history right now. I feel like technology has empowered everybody. So the gatekeeper era, I feel like, has come to an end. Whether it's music, whether it's media, whether it's fashion, like you have the opportunity to, reach people all over the world just via your cell phone. And you don't have to get a cosign from anybody. You don't have to, so that's a blessing. So everybody should take advantage of that. If you're not, you're doing yourself a disservice. You gotta find out a way to reach people. Social media, you gotta find out a way to reach people. It's free. And and it's still an effective model. So yeah, I think that's an important thing. Before we leave, I will say this: OKC at Indiana, I'm not sure, but congratulations to the New York Knicks. They had a tremendous season. Came up short, but it was a great run for sure. I'm assuming you're going with Indiana.
Congrats to the Indiana Pacers. To all the New York Knicks fans. To all the New York.
Talk your shit.
To all the New York, I love you. You know, I love being out there. Every part of New York. At some point, y'all got to stop expecting to win a championship, yo. It's over.
Don't do that. Don't do
It's
that.
over with.
Yo, you still gotta come out here over the summer, bro. Chill. Don't do that. Don't do that.
All my boys from River Park, right with me,
bro.
and Jersey.
Listen,
they had a hell of a run.
What you saw over this past few weeks is how New York is unified when it comes to the Knicks. There's Mets fans, there's Yankee fans.
What Dolan do to Stern? We're gonna talk about this on Blackout. Every other team in New York that won the title.
Yeah, since the last time the Knicks won. Yeah,
what?
Including the Liberty,
the Liberty, the Ranger. Like what? What? Hey, you on fire? What he do to Stern?
Never in my life I've never seen the Knicks win, and I'm not even a Knicks fan. But what they do for the city, I love. So
lit energy.
You cannot go against the Knicks in New York City. I know Brooklyn Nets play here, but that doesn't. I mean, that's like the Clippers in LA.
It's been a hell of a season.
Yeah.
No, next year, man.
OKC in 5 though. I ain't gonna hold you.
OKC. I'm about to say OKC in 5.
OKC in 5.
Yeah. Shout out to the 6.
And congratulations to PSG. Unfortunate situation what happened after the game.
What happened after the game?
No, in Paris. Celebrations.
Three people got killed.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, three people got killed, and then one cop is in a coma. So sports fans, man, y'all gotta
chill, yo.
Y'all gotta chill.
The celebration was crazy.
You can't. Yeah. Sports is great, but you taking it too far.
For real.
Yeah. I actually watched the Vinny Jr. If y'all got on Netflix, Vinny Jr. just dropped a documentary. Probably my favorite player right now is Vinny Jr. He's on Real Madrid, not PSG, but
okay.
He's impactful. He's obviously probably the best player in the world. I think he won the best player in the last year. But go check that out on Netflix. I did that on that 10-hour flight
on the way back. What Dolan do?
Mbappe, you gotta make better decisions, my brother.
For sure.
Now he a legend.
You gotta make better decisions. He's a legend, but you gotta make better.
Shellacking.
You gotta make better decisions.
They didn't even make it.
Exactly.
They will. They'll be back
on the team. He left.
I know. Last year. Yeah.
Then he turned down $1 billion from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Then he got caught.
I took that one.
He took the one. I mean, in his favor, he's still young. They
just invested in Nvidia. They don't need him now.
Real Madrid will be back, and he's won the World Cup already.
A World Cup, not $1 billion.
Facts. That cup, that cup cost $35,000.
A big difference, World Cup.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
He's not even 20. He's still in his 20s.
We have to stop being sold plaques and prestige.
Oh, no, I get that part. He gonna make the money
for sure.
$1 billion is not guaranteed.
For him,
life advice.
Health is the only way.
If somebody offers you $1 billion,
you take it. No, you take it.
Yeah. Unless you got to sell your soul
for 1 year.
Unless you got to sell your soul. $1 billion in a year is crazy.
All right, guys.
I'll say some of the music plaques. I'm like, this plastic and glass?
Sell it.
Yeah, some of y'all, their soul ain't worth nothing as is. Stock Club call on Wednesday. New York Knicks, great season. I wanted y'all to win. Shout out to Indiana. Yeah, but I think OKC gonna take it.
Yeah, 5. SGA, MVP. Shout out to the 6.
Get your tickets to Invest Fest,
please.
For sure. Oh, me, AB, Yobi, and Ty was talking about presentation and stage show. Ooh. I cannot wait.
Ty, what's up? Shout out to Ty. Ty to him in the DMs, man. Shout out to him. He appreciated some of the posts.
Yeah. We will be announcing the lineup on Friday.
Okay.
Y'all be ready. Y'all be ready for that. Y'all be good. Appreciate y'all praying over our traveling mercies. Ian, thank you for holding down New York City in our absence.
Absolutely.
Love is love. We'll catch y'all Wednesday. Blackout. Make sure y'all tune in. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, y'all. Love is love.
Peace.